Well, we're playing another good football team. So, back-to-back, the league's a great league, and there's very little drop-off from team to team, and Tennessee is playing really good football. So, that being said, we're as usual, just back to the business of our preparation and trying to play our best game Saturday night.
Versus Jimmy Hines, the Knoxville Sports Center.
Coach, you lost an outstanding defensive lineman in Sheldon Richardson, yet you're third in the SEC in run defense. Are you a little bit surprised at how effective you've been at stopping the run?
Well, I think I don't know if surprised is the right word. I'm pleased that we're at that spot. It's obviously that's real important defensively to be able to do that. And but I think we've recruited some good players, and our players are playing well. Michael Sam's obviously playing defensive end for us, and I think he's kind of set the bar high for everybody up there. And so I think we're very fortunate to be able to lose a guy like Sheldon right in the middle there, and still be able to play well.
Matty Mock's got a couple of starts under his belt. What's the most impressive thing he's been able to do so far?
Well, just kind of go through the gauntlet here. I mean, I've been coaching, head coach 23 years, and coached quarterbacks at Washington for 7, and done a lot around a lot of good quarterbacks. I've never ever had a quarterback that had to go in, the fourth quarter, the 2-point lead against Georgia. Georgia, his opening starts against Florida, and then South Carolina. Now we got Tennessee. So I mean, I've never had a quarterback go through a gauntlet of teams like this, and I think he's doing a lot of good things. Really pleased with him. Obviously, it's a tremendous amount of pressure on a young player, but I think he's doing good things. But yet he'll, as it goes, every game he plays, he'll mature a little and grow a little. That's the thing I told him. That's the most important thing, is kind of mark your lessons you've learned. Always look at the good things you're doing, and then work your tail off in practice to improve on your fundamentals.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thanks to Chip Howard of KZNE Radio.
Gary, what's the biggest challenge facing you and your staff this week in putting Saturday behind that team?
Well, I find I don't really look at it that way. I mean, we had to move on fast, but we do if we win or lose. I mean, if it's a big win or big loss, obviously it was a very stinging loss, and I recognize, and that's what you're saying. But we're in November. We're 7-1. We got we play 2 games and bye week and 2 more games. It's a different season. I mean, it's November is what's all about in college football. To be able to win in November, and I think we're practicing well and focused, and there's a lot out there. And so why we would be crying in our tears over something that happened a few days ago, I don't think we are. And it's still about how we play. We're playing a real good football team, but it's still about how we play. And I'll be very disappointed if we don't play at a high level.
On both those kicks in the fourth quarter and then in overtime, the laces of the football were facing the kicker. Did that or can that affect those kicks?
I think so. I think the furthest you're out, the more it affects it. I think it does. How we coach it is, you got to spin the laces, and we've done a pretty good job of that all year. Unfortunately, on those 2 we didn't. But if it's a bad snap or it's a snap where you think timing's an issue, then you just got to get it down and just set it down. And all kickers have kicked with laces before, but that needs to improve, obviously. But we need to tackle better. We need to kick better. We need to. There were 10 plays in the fourth quarter and in the overtimes that I could take any one of those plays and change it, and we probably could have won the game. So we did look at the kick. We're going to work to fix that. The week before he had 5 kicks. Was a Groza Player of the Year of the nation, and so he's very capable. And we're embracing him, when we do that around here, and look forward to him getting back and getting back to kicking.
Thank you.
You bet.
Next is David Morrison, the Columbia Daily Tribune.
Hey, Gary. With everything that's expected out of quarterbacks and offenses today and all the hits they take, do you think it's more important to have 2 guys that are game ready for each week than in the past?
It's really interesting. I went 21 years prior to last year, and I never lost a starting quarterback as a head coach due to injury. I've lost him for a game maybe, but no more than that, or for a half. And then last year, obviously, it happened. This year, it's happened, and I see it happening around the country more. I think that's obvious, and I don't know if they're running them any more different or what. I don't know if maybe we're just going to go through a cycle here. I'm not sure. But I know the defensive linemen and linebackers are bigger, stronger, faster than they've ever been. It's a lot different than it was 10 years ago. You know, my first couple of years here, the athletes are just the athleticism and the explosiveness of athletes. But I think everybody in the country wants their backup quarterback to play well. Sometimes it works out. I think generally, as a general rule, there's a huge drop-off. I think it's the same way in the NFL. You know, and you lose a starting quarterback there, that's the one position nobody wants to lose. So that being said, you know, the depth of quarterback and getting a second-team guy ready to play probably is certainly we're trying to do that, and I think everybody is.
Thank you.
You bet.
Next is Edward Ashoff of ESPN.com.
Yeah, Gary, I was wondering if you've had time to sit down and talk with Andrew Baggett after the missed field goal in overtime, and especially since it looks like social media kind of attacked him pretty viciously afterward.
Yeah, that's what I hear a little bit. I talked to him a little bit yesterday, and you know, he has teammates here. He's got a lot of good teammates. You know, we embrace one another. You know, we you know, like I said, it could have been any one of a number of different plays. It could have been the difference, not just his kick. And the other thing too is if he's smart, and you know, I told him it would not a real wise idea to read social media, you know, good or bad. I mean, I you know, I think it can be brutal, and I never read it, but I've been told. Obviously, I get updates on everything that's happening, you know, from a media standpoint and networking standpoint. And you know, when I got to hear some of the things that were sent to him, it's pretty remarkable that anybody can do something like that. But anyway, that's the world you live in. If you get one bad one, you shut it off and you know, turn it on in a few weeks. That's what I recommend he does. And that, you know, he's our guy. And the week before he was, you know, one of the best kickers in the country, and he still is a good kicker.
Does it look like he's put that kick behind him?
Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing really well. This is a family here. You know, we embrace each other. You know, they're like one of my kids. So, you know, when people are firing at one of my you know, I have 127, you know, kids besides my three adult children. So, you know, we embrace him, and that's what we should do.
Next is Steve McGarry of the Associated Press.
Tennessee's indicated they're starting the freshman Josh Dobbs at quarterback this week. From the little bit of film you were able to see of him in the Alabama game, what catches your attention?
Well, I think he's really good. I think he's fundamentally good. He had the delivery. I was very impressed with how he played in the second half. I had no idea what was going to happen with their starter. You know, they're kind of in our boat too. I mean, everybody seems like they're in the same situation, and a lot of people are at least. But you know, I thought the one thing I was real impressed with was poise. You know, he really was. You know, you're playing on a big stage there, and you know, him doing the things he was doing, playing the way he's been playing. You know, I was very impressed with that.
Thank you.
A follow-up from Jimmy Hines.
Coach, in regard to your defensive ends, Ely and Sam, they've combined for over 13 sacks. Do you think this is good of a defensive end combination as you've had?
We've been pretty fortunate. You know, we have Shane Ray also you throw in there, and Marcus Golden. You know, we rotate these guys in, and all those guys are really doing some good things. So, you know, I'm really pleased. It's a pretty good group of guys, and the neat thing about them, they're all playing at a high level. And I think Michael's the one that really is kind of, you know, when you got a player, they're very competitive. You know, it's all about sacks, and you know, and we all know that, and tackles for loss and things like that if you're defensive line. But I think that you know, Michael kind of raised the bar, you know, and I think what that does, you know, if you're a competitor, it ignites everybody, and it's certainly been very positive.
What does it mean to your secondary to get E.J. Gaines back?
Well, you know, I thought first of all, Arian Penton that went in, and John Gibson, who they rotated in as freshmen and a redshirt freshman. You know, in the last couple of weeks, you know, I thought they've done an outstanding job, and obviously having two freshmen like that, you know, for the future is awesome. So you know, that's how that turned into a real positive, and proud of those guys. But EJ's, you know, was an all-conference player, you know, 2 years ago in the Big 12, and you know, he's a leader, and he's, you know, there's a sense of, you know, he's our best player on defense. He's back. You know, just like losing James Franklin, we lost our two top players, but EJ's really, you know, really very well respected, and it's great to have him back in the huddle.